All right, we are live for the Spin and Backfist MMA show post UFC 310 edition. It is live 1:27 a.m. Sunday, December 8th now. Now it's Sunday. Card just wrapped up. Pantoja, still that guy. Dominant performance in the main event. Looked great. A lot to talk about. Thank you to Game Time for sponsoring the show. Got to shout them out right away. You know, we love getting out to live events, whether it's a concert, a football game, comedy show, a fight, whatever it is, we're using Game Time. It's the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. And with their new Game Time Picks feature, they make it even easier to get out to a game or whatever you're going to. They filter out all the fluff to show you only the incredible deals on great seats. So you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. If I go to their website right now, I'm sure they got plenty of great deals on the homepage. Chiefs at Browns next week. $52 gets you in Cleveland. Looking at this, Bucks at Cavs next week or 2 weeks from now. $38 gets you in. If you're a listener from Cleveland, check out those amazing deals with Game Time. Use the code BACKFIST on the Game Time app or on their website, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create an account and redeem the code BACKFIST for $20 off. What time is it? Game time. All right. UFC 310. It was a good card, I thought. It was like an interesting card overall because there were some good fights. There were a lot of finishes, which we love. There weren't a ton of like highlight reel moments. The finishes we got were kind of like more on the submission side, or they were more ground and pound, like the Eric Anders, Chris Weidman one. But overall, I would say it was a good card.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good card. A lot of good finishes early. And yeah, he's got a lot of good submissions. Like Chiesa had a great submission. Luque has a great performance, gets Grimbo out of there inside of a minute. And then Pantoja has a big one to put a cap on it. Great card overall. I guess just to start with the main event, I mean, Pantoja kind of did what I expected. I feel like as a listen, he's a Japanese star. He kind of even embodied, like I feel like you saw throughout the fight week, like he was trying to definitely have that persona, have that aura to him. Almost kind of using that mysterious, like he's in America, like we've seen him fight. We've seen the highlights, like he knocked out Haraguchi, he knocked out like Archuleta, like a few guys but not these these massive names. I mean, I said it in the preview, he lost a few coming into this. Pantoja just so durable. I mean, he eats that first knee right out of the gate. So
yeah, that was crazy.
Down. I just felt like it was inevitable. He was eventually going to take us back, get a choke. Pantoja's the man. He should be higher up in the pound-for-pound rankings. He's been so good. It's almost like you don't know who to put up there with him now. Like there's no like Royval is the most worthy adversary, but he's already beat him twice. So it's kind of like I don't know what they do here really for him next.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Ev said. I don't really know what we do with Pantoja next. He's phenomenal. I would even say Asakura looked pretty good. He looked fast. He landed that knee in the first round. That was I can't believe Pantoja ate that. Actually, you can, because as Ev has said, he's a zombie. But he ate it in a way that was almost it didn't even affect him. I thought Asakura looked good. But Pantoja kind of said in his post-fight speech, it's the UFC. There's levels to this. And Asakura, I think he's a top 10 flyweight. But outside of that, I don't know if he's how would he even do against a Royval? That would be actually a pretty good fight. Pantoja, I don't think gets enough credit. He should be higher in the pound-for-pound rankings. I get it. 125, small guy, doesn't get as much pop as other guys. But even the crowd's reaction, it felt like it was a nothing burger. I was a little bit disappointed, not to blame the crowd for anything, but Pantoja, phenomenal stuff. Somebody just said in the chat, Pantoja moving up to fight Topuria. That would be a huge step up.
Yeah, oh my 20-pound step up. Yeah. I loved his call out. I mean, he's like Mighty Mouse. He's like, I don't have any more opponents. They're literally getting people debuting to be a title challenger. Why not try to claw Mighty Mouse out of retirement? Is it going to work? I would say absolutely not, but give it a shot.
Mighty Mouse tweeted that the YouTube money's too good.
Well, there you go. Good for him.
You think they do? You think they do Kai? Like realistically, it's because he just knocked out Urseg. I don't know who else what do you do? Kai you do Kai Rivel too? Like we already saw that and Rivel won. Like do you do that and then that winner just like undeniably gets the next title shot? Kind of like you just kind of have
maybe.
Because I mean, because if you're Rivel, you're sitting there like I know you just fought him in December, but like last December, but you just beat Moreno and then Tatsura back to back. Like you literally just knocked off like the two of the top 3 guys in the division. Like what else? What else can you do to say, hey, like I'm worthy of another title shot? Yeah. But the last fight wasn't that exciting, and it was not that long ago. Like it was pretty decisive.
It's kind of a Whitaker situation with Izzy, where he fought Whitaker. Like both the fights, they weren't. The last one was more of a domination by Pantoja, but both weren't. It's like, okay, if they fight again, it's whatever. It can't headline a pay-per-view. Izzy Whitaker 3 could have, but Pantoja against Royval 3 has to be a co-main
for sure.
With a much better fight on it. I am not excited to see that, but I'm with you. If he kind of deserves it. Not even kind of, he does.
The chat's saying Pantoja versus winner of Umar and Merab.
I don't think Pantoja's big enough. I think that's my issue with him. Like I think he's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's such a natural 125.
I just think like especially when you're talking about the smaller weight classes, like moving up 10 pounds when it's like such a big percentage of your body weight, like Pantoja would just be giving up so much size. Yeah. So much. I just don't think it would work out for him. I think he's better off just like lapping 125 for years if he can.
Yeah. Co-main event, Ian Machado, Garry. Came up short against Shavkat, but I saw a lot of people saying they were pretty impressed with his performance. I was impressed. He obviously came pretty close to a finish in the 5th round. That rear naked choke, I was screaming. I was like, oh my God, is this going to happen? It would have been incredible if he pulled it off. Wasn't the most exciting fight, but it was kind of the fight some suspected it could be in like a chess match. Obviously a good performance from both, but I feel like I left that fight a little less confident in Shavkat as the boogeyman.
That was the biggest thing that I was going to say. The boogeyman.
That aura kind of left him a little bit tonight, I think.
And Ian fought well. I think it was a clear win for Shavkat, but Ian really could have won that fight. I texted in the group. I know people will probably clown us or whatever. Not really, but like taking Ian Garry plus 300, I would do it again. 1,000%. It got all the way up to plus 350. That was a very close fight. I think Ian should have handled the first 2 rounds a little bit differently. That's probably what he'll go back and regret. But the boogeyman moniker is a little bit gone. Obviously, he has Bilal next. And I mean, Rogan really killed. If you want to talk about killing an aura, not that Bilal had one, but him saying security's not letting him in. They don't know he's the champ.
Oh my God. That was brutal. Yeah, I agree. And they're definitely I thought Garry did fight very well. I thought he had that choke, man. There was a couple times when he had that thing like torqued. I was like, oh my God. I was having the moment. I was like, are we going to see just a sleep Shavkat on the mat? Because I actually think him choking out Shavkat would have actually been like the do the funniest thing ever thing more than a knockout.
Yeah.
If he tapped it, like just the shoot box, like rear naked choked him like Brazilian jiu-jitsu on the mat, that would have been incredible. But yeah, I think Garry has to I think almost in a loss he probably gained people's respect. So I think a lot of people thought he was going to just get wiped out here, and clearly belongs with the top guys in the division. And Garry, his length and his striking, and I think he does have good takedown defense. That's going to be a problem for anyone. like at 170. Just his sheer size and length is so unique. Even Shavkat said it in like the fight week. I saw a couple interviews where he's like, it was like the first time or one of the first times he's fought someone taller than him in this division.
Mm-hmm.
He's used to being like the taller, bigger guy.
Yeah, after this fight, I would not be surprised if he and Garry holds the title one day. And I wasn't completely sold before the fight, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying this fight sold me. He's a future champ for sure. But it's like, oh, clearly, like, he does belong with the best. He is one of the best in that division.
I agree. It definitely wouldn't like shock me if he had the belt eventually.
Volkov and Gane, disgusting decision. Gross robbery. Real bad.
I just don't know how you can score 2 or 3 for Gane. I just thought I thought it was just very clear 2-3 Volkov. I especially 3. I mean, and it seemed like that was kind of on the scorecards. We've seen the judges like that was the round in question.
Yeah,
like
and I think it was Adeline Bird too, wasn't it?
Because I mean, the second one, I thought he like Volkov like hurt him, like he landed some big shots. I thought it was clear as day 2-3. Even Gane was like almost pissed that he won.
He left the cage.
Yeah, it's like a weird, because it is a weird thing, and I almost respected him for feeling that way, because there's nothing worse than when a fighter like gets a decision like that and then they act all like, oh, like,
it's like not their fault.
Like, what are you talking about? I hate that.
Obviously, it wasn't as bad. Did you guys think Aljo won earlier in the night? I did.
As somebody who bet Aljo,
I bet Aljo. It might have been my bias.
Watching it, I thought Evloev won. I thought Aljo fought really well, but I think he had a chance in the third. But then he tried to jump on the back and then ended up on the bottom. I think with 90 seconds to go or so. Yeah. That really cost him. That really cost him. It was a close fight. We kind of called it. We were like, yeah, this is a fight that you bet Aljo plus 200, plus 220, and then you lose, but you're like, I feel like I was on the right side. Evloev is just, his cardio is crazy, man. It's just, he is, and he's so strong, which goes to show how strong Aljo is. But Evloev, he's just so strong. But I will say, on the feet, Merab kind of was telling him in between rounds 2 and 3. Sterling was kind of getting the better of him on the feet, I thought.
Sorry, I'm reading quotes from the presser right now. Apparently, Garry thinks he won that fight.
Yeah, I was watching it right before we recorded, and he was kind of like, I stopped kind of as we started, but he was sort of making his case. He was trying to make his case for some of the earlier rounds. But honestly, I thought Evloev did win the fight. I thought that last barrage in the last like minute and a half, 2 minutes. Because the thing with Aljo in the beginning of that round, he didn't create any damage. There was no damage. Like I think where Evloev at least was doing a lot of damage in that last like 90 seconds. And I think if he had just kind of held him down, he might not have got it. But I think getting a lot of those strikes in there, I thought kind of got him over the hump. Like when he got up, in my head, I had no skin in it. I was thinking Evloev probably won.
Dana's not ruling out Demetrius Johnson versus Pantoja. He called it interesting. I don't know how that would work. If DJ came back, is he under contract with one still? Would they have to get him in some kind of weird trade with one? Or did he fight out his contract there and retire?
He did just tweet before after the fight. He tweeted #1 fight night, like whatever it was, the most recent one. So I think he's still under contract with one. One's in a very you never really know what situation they're in.
Yeah.
Demetrius has fought really, really well there. That'd be a hell of a fight. Now,
that'd be awesome.
Dana historically doesn't really love Demetrius that much.
They've had a weird rocky relationship.
Yeah.
And after the Aljo fight, before we move on from that, Merab is getting into it with the fans yet again. That's a headline we've heard before. We saw it again tonight. But Dennis Bazooka friggin' threw a punch at the fan. The fan had the balls to throw punches back, where I'm like, how do you get the confidence to not just fucking turtle up when a UFC fighter's throwing punches at you? We only have that one angle. I blogged it and basically said, we don't see what started this, but I could tell you exactly what started it. The fan was talking shit at Merab when he was on his way back, and Merab doesn't play with that. Like, if you try to do that to Merab, he's going to climb barricades. He's going to try to jump over security guards. It's just Merab being Merab. I wouldn't try this with him if I were you.
My guess is like it was something said about Georgia. The guy looked like I have to think it had to be like politically motivated, right? Like, why else would he get mad?
I don't think so, dude. The other videos of him jumping up on the barricades are fans being like, yo, you should fight Aljo. And he's like, let's go, brother. Like, he jumps up and he grabbed the one fan by the hair. I think he's just easily provoked. And it's like, yeah, he's got to work on that. At the same time, if you're a fan, maybe don't provoke the guy. He's a fucking UFC champion.
I think someone could have easily said you're ducking Umar. Like,
boom.
Even now.
I think, yes, I think it's that easy.
It's literally signed. I think you could say you're ducking Umar, and he might act it up. And then Bazooka, we got Bazooka throwing right hands. The guy was ready to stand and trade in the pocket with Bazooka.
He was crazy. He was fucking throwing back and shit. That was crazy. Let's also shout out New Amsterdam Vodka. This episode is brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. It's the official vodka of Barstool Sports, the official vodka of the UFC, and in our opinion, the official vodka of winning. It was nice to see the ads. It was like DraftKings, New Amsterdam. It's like cool to see the synergy between Spin Backfist and UFC on these nights. It is a champion vodka, though. You match it up against any other vodka, and it's a knockout for New Amsterdam. So whether you caught the pay-per-view fight at your favorite bar, you hung out at home and you're listening to us talk about it, celebrate your wins with the insanely smooth New Amsterdam Vodka. We tell you every week, the Pink Whitney, it's such good stuff. The regular New Amsterdam Vodka, it's the fastball down the middle. You can never go wrong with it. Find your wins with New Amsterdam Vodka. We love it. Thank you, New Amsterdam, for sponsoring the show.
I will say what you guys were saying with Umar. He was so emotional during the press conference that you guys are probably right. And also the clip of them like kind of going at it before the press conference was so funny because he was talking about a tweet and Umar was like, what tweet? What tweet? What did I do? And he was like, why you disrespect me on Twitter? He's like, what did I do? It's like, it's so like Ali just definitely tweeted something. And like, that's what he, and then Umar was just there, just kind of acting like Khabib did throughout a lot of his press conferences with a little bit less of like, I think his English isn't as good, and he may not be as funny. But Merab was just like yelling at him. He was like, "You must respect me. You must respect me." It was just like...
Merab with the jacuzzi line that got a big
Very
pop
good.
from the crowd. People loved that one.
The jacuzzi line was
and Umar just being like, "I wasn't there."
Umar knowing exactly what he was talking about. Perfect.
They probably hear that all the time.
Also, the shot there is very funny because I feel like I could see Merab.
Someone just give us money.
Someone gave us money.
Shout out Mac McCheesy.
Shout out Mac McCheesy. I don't think anyone's ever done that before. Thank you. I didn't even know that was a thing.
He's got tickets. Shout out. He got tickets to 311 already. God bless.
He said this card was a 6 and 10 at best. We need 5 competent judges. For that. More judges, I think, is a good idea. That robbery was BS. Keep up the good content. Thanks, man. We had a meme fight. Kron Gracie versus Bryce Mitchell for the Flat Earth Championship of the world.
What a preposterous. You know what? That's what I was putting in the chat. I said I just can't fathom after Kron Gracie's last performance. And I'm really this isn't some hot take. I think all of the MMA world was thinking this. Why Kron Gracie was on this main card. And then he's pulling guard again throughout the fight. He's literally jumping on him just to pull guard. Yeah. And then that was he got what he desered.
He got punished for it.
That's what
so bad.
You got your head just literally pounded through the canvas.
It was such a violent finish.
I actually think he was half knocked out from the slam. The first elbow, I think, because if you look even before he lands the first one, he's already kind of like looking up like crazy. And then the first one, then it's just clear because his arms are just like at his side. Or just like
he didn't know where he was when they were walking him out of there. He was gone.
No idea.
Like absolutely. The slam with the forearm on the head was so brutal to begin with. And they even said it on commentary, basically what you just said there. Like they thought he might have been knocked out from the slam itself. And then the elbow, it put his fucking head through the canvas. That was, I think, the last time we're going to see Kron Gracie on a pay-per-view main card, if I would have to guess.
The experiment's over. The Kron Gracie experience is over. Obviously, like Bryce said, respect the Gracies, MMA greats, but it's over. What
a Bryce post fight too. Him being like, listen, the only person that's going to make America great again is Jesus. And by the way, Joe Rogan, I'm sorry, I called you stupid.
That was so funny when he goes, Joe, I just really wanted to say, I know I called you stupid. It was definitely about something about like flat earth or something.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I know I called you stupid, but I wanted to say sorry straight to your face. And Joe goes, you actually did that to me already.
He goes, like, you already did, man.
Yeah. And he was like, but I was
funny.
Disappointed he didn't call out Elon. Like no Elon.
Oh yeah. Weird. Do you think he was like, maybe I shouldn't ruffle those feathers after Elon sat ringside? I don't know.
No, I was just so sorry.
He probably don't care. Yeah.
He was so sorry to Joe.
Nate Landwehr, real disappointing performance from him. I mean, it was an amazing performance on the other end, but it was just sad to see Nate the Train go in there and get wrecked for 3 rounds. He didn't have like an ounce of offense.
Yeah, after that first round, I kept waiting for that moment. I was like, all right, like you've been getting beat up now. Like it's time to do the thing where you get your ass kicked and then you kick ass.
Yeah.
He kind of just never flipped that switch. In the third round, he came throwing bombs.
He did. Yeah, the beginning of the third round, he did.
On the third round, he almost did like a slightly lesser version of what Korean Zombie did to Max Holloway, where he was like, all right, like I'm either this round, I know I'm down. I'm either dying or I'm going to die. I'm either going to kill you or I'm going to die. And then he ended up dying, but not in the way that I expected. I thought he was going to end up just getting on. I thought Choi was about to just land like a counter nuke.
I did too. And I was telling my fiance, I was on FaceTime with her while we were watching this fight. She was watching it. I was watching it. She's like, man, this guy's really getting his ass kicked. And I was like, yeah. But listen, the fight doesn't even begin till he's getting his ass kicked. You just wait. He's going to turn it on. He's going to step on the gas. And like round 2 comes and she's like, man, he's really getting his ass kicked. I'm like, you just fucking wait though. He is about to. He just never really did that. Nope. It was like a real false promise the entire fight I was making.
I remember when you texted us in the midst of it. And I think you said something like, Nate looks bad out there. It's not bad, whatever you said. I almost texted back. And I wanted to say, like, this is exactly where Nate wants him. Like, he has him right where he wants him. He has him right where he wants him. But it never, it was, Nate the Train it felt like he never got on the tracks. The train never got on the tracks.
No. That's nice. That was I could picture them saying that on the desk afterwards.
Yeah, it never got on the tracks.
Speaking of the desk, we'll probably be seeing more of Anthony Smith on the desk because I think he's retired. It's not like 100%, but it sure seemed like it was going that way. Big win for Dominic Reyes. I was happy to see it for Dominic Reyes, but of course, sad for Anthony Smith. I mean, he was real emotional post-fight. He was told to retire by his coaches a few fights ago. They actually didn't corner him for a fight. They were like, we don't support you going forward and fighting. And they rejoined his team and everything. It's been an emotional end of career for Anthony Smith. But yeah, I don't know. I hesitate to say like it was a good fight. Like it wasn't an amazing fight from his end. It was a good performance from Dominic Reyes, but yeah.
I think
go ahead, Jack.
It's over. I mean, obviously, if he wants to keep going, he can. It's not like his chin's completely gone. He ate some. He's one of the toughest guys ever. He ate some serious punches in this, and I'm
There's
shocked.
fighters in the division he could beat for sure. It's just he's not going to make a title run again, I don't think.
This guy C in the chat just said it. He was a walking heavy bag. There was a point where he just kind of just absorbed punches. He didn't even try to block it. Obviously, thoughts and prayers with him, the family of his former coach who passed away tragically. And, hopefully, he gets right. He's great on the desk, though. So, obviously, when we had him in the office, he was so nice. He stayed with us for an hour or so. But I get why he wants to keep fighting. Pretty good paycheck.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was tough, kind of just seeing it's always weird when it's after the fight and Rogan kind of is on the mic and he's like, "Hey, so is that it for you?" Like almost being like, "Hey, this should be it for you."
Here's your opportunity. Yeah.
Him kind of being like, "Yeah, I don't know if I want to do this again without my coach," but then also at the other side of his mouth, he's like, "Yeah, but I don't know." Doesn't want to say for
as
sure.
He's taking the gloves off. It's like, bro, the gloves are off.
Yeah. Yeah, but I could definitely see Anthony Smith fighting again. That wouldn't shock me at all.
No, it wouldn't surprise me either. Also, did you guys see the UFC 300 tattoo he's got?
Yeah, that was weird.
How weird is that? He wasn't on the card. He worked the card on the desk.
That was weird. That'd be like you getting it, I guess.
Yeah, I worked the card. Yeah, it's strange.
I mean, maybe he was just like, "Oh, it's a commemoration of it." I
would love to hear an explanation for that. Next time he's in, I got to remember to ask him about that tattoo. Just so strange that he would get UFC 300 tattooed on him. One more shout out to a sponsor. It is, of course, DraftKings, who we were using all night. End the year with a bang with DraftKings. Obviously, we were using it for UFC 310 tonight. We jumped in. There's a bunch of stacked cards that we have bet on all year. This was one of them. We got a card next week as well. And next year, 2025, is going to have cards top to bottom that we're going to be using DraftKings on. New customers on DraftKings can bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code BACKFIST. That's code BACKFIST for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. I wasn't amazing tonight with my picks. I think I did a Luque and someone else. Who did I have in that? It was I did Brian Battle and Luque, I think, in a parlay together, and that hit. Oh, and I think I had Dominic Reyes in that as well. And then I had the plus 800 Pantoja submission round 2. Other than that, I didn't have anything else. But I wound up being profitable on the plus 800.
That's phenomenal. Shout out DraftKings. Obviously, we'll be using them tomorrow for NFL, and then all into the college football playoff and UFC Tampa next week.
Luque and Garimbo, so quick, slick submission.
It was a levels fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a levels fight. Garimbo, you can't fight Pete Rodriguez every week, brother. Unfortunately, that's just not how this UFC shit works. This was a big jump. I think we got a little. I mean, as much as he looked bad in the Buckley fight, Buckley's also been on a great run.
Mm-hmm.
He's fought a lot of good guys now. He just beat Luque, knocked out Wonder Boy. Garimbo had knocked out Pete Rodriguez in with literally a meme knockout. He beat Nico Price, the carcass of Nico Price. He beat Brahimaj fine. Yeah, I mean Luque's still around. That was big. I mean, just he lands the big shot, goes classic Luque, like Anaconda, Darce, whatever it was.
Yeah,
great
nice.
finish by him. Nice little. It was nice to see a guy like Luque get back on the schneid after a tough little run for him there.
Jersey guy, yeah. Always support Luque. What else did we have? Oh, we had the Brian Battle fight. Brian Battle, Randy Brown, and Brian Battle 2 fights tonight. He fought Randy Brown, and then he fought the entire crowd in his post-fight interview afterwards, to the point he was like, "Oh, you're booing me." He almost went Ally Quinto with it, not as hostile against the crowd. And then he asked again. He was like, "You're booing me," and Rogan was like, "Just let it go, man." He's like, "Stop listening to them."
I don't know why he didn't get that. It was obviously booing because of the weight miss.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna miss by 4 pounds, like, you're gonna get booed. Like, that's just like how it goes. And like, he could have grabbed the mic and said, "Hey," he didn't really mention the weight miss until like Rogan asked him twice. It was kind of like, "Hey, Brian, grab the mic, say, hey, I know, guys, I missed weight. I fucked up. This was the quickest turnaround of my career. It won't happen again. I'm sorry." Everyone would have been like, all right, fine. 4-pound miss, though, that's like you didn't even really try.
4 is really bad, yeah.
4 is like, if it was a half pound, it's like, okay. Obviously not good, but 4 pounds, ugh. I get why people would be mad, and I would understand. Randy Brown did shake his hand after and whatnot, but I would understand if Randy Brown was still mad at him. Obviously, he got part of his pay, but still, you could have alerted the team that you weren't even going to try.
Yeah, he got a nice bit of his paycheck, like you said. I'm sure Battle makes decent money at this point. But yeah, I mean, I don't know who you guys thought. I thought Battle definitely won the fight 29-28. Obviously, kind of like a weird. I'm telling you, I don't know how many times I thought Randy Brown was going to decapitate him with one of those uppercuts.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
There was a few that he came right up. I was like, oh my God, if he lands that, he would kill a mule. I wonder what they do with him after that, because like the weight miss, and like usually Brian Battle has these like great, exciting performances, like probably one of his lesser ones in the UFC. And I thought this seemed like a fight where it was very like, oh, like the winners, like no doubt getting top 15, the winners like taking that big next step in the welterweight division. I wonder what they kind of do now. I wonder if they give him that, if they kind of give him a pass here, like he got a tough win over like a really good guy, or if they kind of make him like kind of like have another one of these fights because of the weight miss and the performance.
C in the chat says y'all got to talk about the Durden pick. I believe I was on Van in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I picked Durden. I was wrong. I thought Durden would get the wrestling going a little bit more. Yeah, it was. I mean, he lost. Like, yeah, he didn't show up in a way that I thought he would. I thought he would even potentially get a finish, but he didn't. I probably shouldn't have. That's a bet that I wish I could have back for sure. Because Van really looked good on the feet.
Great, yeah.
And now Cody Durden's chin deserves a performance bonus, but
yeah,
Joshua Van, way to get back in the win column after the Charles Johnson, or was that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, no, he fought Charez too.
Oh, Charez, yeah.
He fought Charez too at the Sphere.
You're right.
So, but he's shout out Joshua Van. Bad bet on Durden, bad bet.
Dana just called Marab his mini Strickland without the mouth. This is from Aaron Bronstetter. Says that it's going to cost Marab a lot of money if he keeps fighting with the fans, but these sort of things happen in the fight business.
That is such a funny thing to say. Yeah, like just it's part of the business.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think Dana's reaction was when someone told him and said, hey, so Marab kind of got into it with the fan, and Bazooka,
like, of course he did,
started throwing punches. It was bad, but it's under control. Did you see how calmly the fan then walked away into like,
yeah,
it was so funny. It was like he got into a fight and it was just like, oh, the fight's over, I'm getting kicked out now, and he just walked away.
Slowly escorted
out.
Run
away or anything. He was just like, I got caught.
Dana also said that Anthony Smith, Chris Weidman, and Clay Guida should all retire following their losses tonight. Hard to argue.
Chase Hooper.
You made the TikTok. We've watched him become a man.
Yes, we've watched him become a man, and shout out Chase Hooper. He'll get a top 15 guy soon if he keeps winning. I think he probably needs another win or two.
Yeah.
But
good win on this card for sure.
And he's 24, there's
He's
no
young
rush.
still, yeah.
And I think in a few years, I mean, Chase Hooper could really be fighting some top tier fights, and he continues to work on the striking. It looks good. He throws with power, and we'll see how far he can take it. But again, he did what he was supposed to do tonight.
Absolutely. Is there anything else? Anything we missed on the
Sean
card?
Strickland, DDP.
Oh, true. They announced, 312.
Yep.
That and
then Tatiana Suarez and Weili.
Yeah.
Great fights. Really good fights.
Who tweeted it? Was it Ariel said like the fact that Strickland's 3 title fights are 2 in Australia, 1 in Canada is like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this guy needs an American. Give him an American.
Yeah. It's like a joke on him or something. Yeah.
Well, he kept saying he wouldn't fight in a he wanted it in America.
Yeah.
And then I guess he was like, you know what? I don't care. I'll fight in Australia.
Then it's like, fuck it. If I say no to this, Hamzat's going to be flown in.
Then Hamzat's that
tweet,
photo, that was
at Strickland
crazy.
Or whatever. He like misspelled his name, just a picture of him with a gun. Yeah. Yeah. Those are 2 people that like, they're going to take it way too seriously. I think like, let's make sure their firearms are
they
taken
will
away from
shoot
them
at each
before
other.
they're, yeah.
With
Also,
their guns.
People that will shoot at each other with water bottles. The clip of Nate Diaz grabbing a water bottle, just chucking it at Team Makachev, and then like walking away, and someone throws a bottle. It's nowhere near him, but he still ducks, and he fucking like puts his hands up like he's ready to go. It was such a Diaz clip. It just made me laugh so hard. It made me think back to like Francis telling his story, like Francis from Barstool, of hanging out with Diaz for the night. And he like went out and drank with Diaz for this whole night. And he said at one point, Diaz just like, I think he like lunged at someone like in the street, and they flinched and shit. And Diaz kept walking past, and he turned to Francis. He was like, that guy's talking shit. And Francis was just like, all right. Like, yeah, he was. Yeah, definitely. You would have kicked his ass, man. Diaz he's ready to scrap at all times. And that video is the perfect encapsulation of that.
Yeah, no.
It really made me laugh. His little his duck, and then like get into the fight stance just over a water bottle. Really just crap.
And I truly, it brings you back to when McGregor was throwing the water bottles.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, it was
Diaz. You hand Diaz water bottles. I mean, he did it, I think, against Jake Paul's team. And I think against Masvidal's team. He's done it over and over again. This guy his weapon of choice is a water bottle.
It's unbelievable.
Just Team Diaz water bottle. There's a combo that will go down in combat history.
Yeah.
They need to make like a brand out of that, like a shirt.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. All right. That was the UFC 310 post show. It's 2:05 a.m. as we finish it here. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Make sure to like the stream, and we will be back next week to break down the Week in Combat Sports News. We'll break down the UFC Tampa card. Yeah, we've actually got a pretty good card next week. So it'll be in front of a live crowd and everything. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you then.